Good evening, everyone. I am CA Rakesh Saini from Alwar, moderator of this VCM. We are delighted to welcome you all in the VCM being organized by CPE Committee of ICI. It is my pleasure to be a moderator for this VCM on real estate sector, recent development and drafting and importance of documentation. In a short while, we will start this VCM. I would like to apprise you about CPE Committee. The profession of chartered accountancy has always been recognized for the quality of education, training, and strong grip over technical standards. With globalization and increasing business complexities, it is essential that chartered accountants equip themselves with the changing occurring and stand out to the expectation of the society. Our institute is constantly working and contributing to cater to the needs and requirement of our members and has taken various initiatives for them from time to time in the direction. With this view, the continuing professional education committee of ICI has always been the foremost to provide opportunity to their members to boost their knowledge base. The program for the evening is as follow. We have two sessions of 1 hour each and topics are recent development in real estate sector and another one is drafting and importance of documentation in real estate sector. Our eminent speaker will talk about above mentioned two emerging areas of professional interest. For the first topic, our today's speaker is CA Gaurav Agarwal ji. CA Gaurav Agarwal ji has completed his CA and CS and having more than 14 years of post-qualification experience in the real estate sector. As a consultant, he had been associated with law since its inspection and with all expertise have been advising and providing consultancy to the real estate sector regarding the registration of the project under RERA, its compliances, periodical review, and assessment of the projects, including issuance of quarterly certificates from architect, engineer, and also from chartered accountants. He have also been advising the developers how to safeguard their interest vis-a-vis the RERA. He is regularly invited on the platform of the various real estate forum and electronic media to discuss the subject and to conduct technical session, webinar, seminar, workshops, and awareness drive, which he had been successfully doing through PPTs for the last 5 years. I welcome CA Gaurav Agarwal ji for the topic. Welcome, sir. Welcome, CA Gaurav Agarwal, sir.
Should I start? Should I
Yes.
start, Rakesh? Okay.
Sir, sure. Over to
Good
you,
evening,
sir.
friends. Good evening, friends. Thanks, Rakesh ji, for this speech and for my introduction. Thanks to the CPE Committee Institute, Chairman Rajkumar Adukia ji, Vice Chairman CA Hansraj Chugh ji. Thank you for this opportunity. Now, this is an important topic that now I am sharing this slide in front of you. So this is an important topic. Today we discuss the recent developments in the real estate sector. Friends, as you know, that real estate sector has vital role to play in the GDP, in the economy. So the real estate sector is one of the largest sector. So today the CP committee has given me this chance to elaborate about the recent developments of real estate sector. So now I am going to share with you what are the happenings since last 2 years, which is very, very imperative. So the time is very short, and in last 5 or 10 minutes, we will do the query session. So Rakesh will take up the queries, friends. So now the just give you the glimpse throughout the real estate sector. Just this is the RERA implementation progress report throughout the country. So now, out of 28 states and 8 union territories, by this implementation progress report, you can assume, you can see how the sector is important, not only for the professional opportunities, as well as for the economy, for all these stakeholders, be it real estate developers, promoters, allottees, buyers, government, state government, central government, international scenario, be it every stakeholder pertaining to the real estate sector. We have seen 2019 and 20 pandemic riddled economy. So now the real estate sector is recovering from that phase, because in 2020 there was the first wave, 2021 there was the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic. So now after this pandemic, the sector has shown a good recovery sign. So sector is showing a good recovery sign. So now this, you may see that this contribute 6 to 8% of India's GDP, real estate sector itself, and it's the largest employment generation, second in terms of manufacturing and agriculture. Okay, so now friends, this sector is not only have vital role to play in Indian economy, but also impact 250 to 300 end use products, steel, cement, sand. So this is also important. This will create the opportunities for around 250 to 300 sectors as well in the economy. Now it's service industry, it's manufacturing industry. So almost, you may see almost 60 to 70 billion, 60 to 70 million people are engaged in the through the employment generation, directly or indirectly, with this sector. A vast number of labor, vast number of office staff, management are directly engaged with this sector. So now we are moving towards the, now this is the time of digitization. Now the real estate sector is also going for the digital mode, because since last 2 years it is very difficult to go with the physical approach. Now this is the digital approach. Friends, there are different home buying experience. So far the real estate sector is concerned: 3D home tour, digitization wave, online site visit to online payment, virtual walkthroughs. These are the buzzwords. Okay, so there is a technological transformation, no doubt. Technology has been playing an important role in the real estate sector. Since last 2 years, it is very imperative that technology now being playing a good role, an important role in the real estate sector. So now we are moving this, we are just discussing about the macro level aspects of the real estate sector. The real estate sector in our country has been controlled by the major groups as well. So just we are giving you in our PPT slide some of the examples: Godrej Property, Prestige, Oberoi. The numbers is very much. So we are just giving 4 or 5 major big players of the real estate sector in our slide. DLF is also there, Shobha Limited. So now this is the time of the sector for basically real estate. Now this is the time of facts and figures. So what are the facts and figures? Now the sector is recovering. It is in the recovery mode. So now you can see in this slide that in the 4th quarter of 2021, after the post the COVID-19 second wave, sales have been geared up in the 4th quarter of 2021, that is January to March. Now time ahead in 2022-23, I am just giving you one small example that by 2030, this sector is going to become the 10% of the total GDP, 10% of the total economy. That is about to 1 trillion. So by this calculation, you can check that our economy will be somewhere by 10 trillion US dollar by 2030. So now, basically robust demand, no doubt. Now the people is understanding the importance of house, the importance of office spaces, especially importance of house, flats, apartments, villas, plotted development. So these are the important things, because in the COVID-19 pandemic लोगों ने महसूस किया कहीं ना कहीं कि हमें अब घर की एक बहुत जरूरत है। जिस तरीके से हम लोग कहीं ना कहीं अपने घरों में कैद हो गए थे, या जो लोग रेंट पर थे, लोगों को लगने लगा कि नहीं, आज हमें एक घर की इंपॉर्टेंस है। सो नाउ द पीपल हैव रियलाइज्ड, सो दैट्स व्हाई द top 10 cities, top 10 metro cities, the price is appreciating in the housing market. So this is also there. Important aspect is that now there is a also demand of data center. Data, because of this digitization thing, the data center demand is very, very big. So now the international players, international companies are setting up the data center. So that is there. So friends, now real estate sector, no doubt, this is also one of the example that in 2021, in 2021, the builders had sold 205,000 housing units throughout the full year, and in 2020, the promoters and builders and realtors had sold 182,000 units. So this is very, very important aspect, that by virtue of this COVID-19 pandemic, our confidence is there, market confidence is there. Yes, there is a problem that the launching of houses were very slow. In 2020, the launching of houses was 122,000, but in 2021, it was 214,000. Okay, it may be because the developers are just in the wait and watch mode. So it is very, very important to say here, or it is very, very important to note that because of this, the unsold inventory is diluting because of this thing. Okay, so now friends, we move ahead towards this thing. Now this 2022, it is very, very important time, that because of low interest regime, no doubt, recently on 4th May, RBI has, in the non-cyclical things, Monetary Policy Committee had changed the repo rate from 4 to 4.40. So now the home loan interest rate is gearing up. Recently, SDFC Limited had changed from 6.65 to 7%. ICICI is also on the same footing. So this is also there, but it is just 35 or 40 paisa. It is little bit correction. But if any person is on the fence sitting, definitely it is the right time. It is the right time to buy the home. So friends, now no doubt the time has gone for ultra low rate interest. So now this is the time of correction in the interest rate. Because of the inflation, the RBI has increased the repo rate. Now friends, this is the time of consolidation, no doubt. Okay, because in the consolidation phase, there is a merger, there are demergers, and developers are basically in the consolidation mode. So now this is the time for correction, and we can see आने वाले टाइम में हम लोग ये चीज देख पाएंगे कि कहीं ना कहीं चीजें किस तरीके से बदल रही हैं. Now, residential real estate. Since we have discussed about the macro aspect of the real estate sector, macro aspect of the real estate industry. So now there is a now this is the residential real estate, friends. In the residential real estate, the affordable segment is the key. Low cost housing, estate housing, affordable housing, that is the key, no doubt, in the real estate sector. So, and most of the sales are coming from the affordable segment itself. And it will keep afloat in 2022 as well, this affordable segment. And no doubt demand is there in tier 2 and tier 3 cities because of this reverse migration, especially in the IT industry, remote work culture, working culture, hybrid working culture. So that is because of this tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities are there. There are most demand in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, not only with the metros. And the realtors and developers of the metro cities are going to the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So that is very, very important. Ready to move in projects, no doubt. मुझे घर अगर मेरे दिमाग में हमेशा ये पिक्चर रहती है या रहनी चाहिए किसी भी बायर के दिमाग में कि मुझे अगर घर सामने बना हुआ दिख रहा है तो मैं अंडर कंस्ट्रक्शन में नहीं जाना चाहूंगा. आई डू नॉट वांट टू गो विद द अंडर कंस्ट्रक्शन प्रॉपर्टी बिकॉज just to avoid the risk in the under construction property. So I just want to purchase the house that is built in front of me. So that is there, friends. And the residential sector is basically, now the residential sector is depend on various things: rapidly growing middle class, low interest rate, at all time low interest rates, and the MMR region, the Hyderabad, the Bangalore, and the Chennai, no doubt Delhi NCR is gaining the momentum. So in the real estate sector, these are some facts and figures. So no doubt this sector is also going to become, and there may be very much lucrative growth. Residential sectors definitely witness in the MMR region is really doing good, in NCR is really doing good. No doubt Hyderabad is leading the market in terms of sale. Okay, so now we have already discussed that there is a much recovery. So now the one second, friend. Yes, so friends, basically yeah. So residential, Rakesh, is my slide visible to you, na? Rakesh?
No, Gaurav sir, please share your screen. It's not visible.
It's not visible. Na?
Yes.
So is it visible now, Rakesh?
Yes. Yes, Gaurav ji, please go ahead.
Yeah. So now, so friends, that is there. So one second. So now, no doubt COVID-19 was the big disruptor. So we were expecting that the real estate sector may be in what happened to the real estate sector. It is a big contributor to the Indian economy, but no doubt the recovery is in a fast mode. So demand for properties between rupees 25 lakh and rupees 50 lakh on the rise in India. No doubt हर कोई सस्ता घर खरीदना चाहता है. I mean, जो basically middle class है. So our sector is divided into low, medium income group, higher income group, lower income group. So now the demand is surged for 25 lakh to 50 lakh on the rise in India. It is very, very important to note. So basically inflation. So inflation, it comes to in our mind that inflation, because of this inflationary mode, the prices are rising and surging in because of this inflation. No doubt that is there, but it is not directly proportionate to the inflation. It is also because of the demand and supply. And friends, plots are gaining the momentum. डेवलपर्स के लिए भी बहुत आसान होता है कि प्लॉट्स के प्रोजेक्ट को जल्दी से मटेरियलाइज करना. इट इज वेरी वेरी because the developers and promoters can make the liquidate the any plotted development project very easily, and there is no risk associated for construction and development like big group housing या big township project. So, and especially to note friends, 50 lakh 25 to 50 lakh rupees plots plot ticket size and up to 1 crore plot is very very in the momentum, and the people can build house, the person can build villa on the same. Now this is the time for commercial real estate. So flexible work spaces are there, co-working spaces are there. Co-working spaces means like the in any office space that is the plug and play model friends, and from any person from any company can join, just plug and play the model and plug and enjoy the facilities of any workspace. So that is the co-working space. Also hybrid spaces. Data center, we have already discussed. The data center is a new buzzword for the real estate sector because of the rising demand from e-commerce, media, education and IT industry. So Google and Amazon are creating the no doubt the data center. So this is the fractional. Now the fractional ownership, basically I am just giving you the example for fractional ownership. It is likewise that, for example, if there is a office space and there is a floor plate of 2000 square, and what the builder do, what the promoter do, that the promoter is giving the office space, allotting the office space or selling the office space for 100 square feet for 20 allottees, for 20 buyers basically. So that is the fractional ownership, virtual office space basically, that is called. And 2000, now you are investing for 100 square feet, and that 2000 square feet is leased to a cinema, to a multiplex basically. Flexibility in office space, we have already discussed that because of this pandemic, the office working model has been shifted to and hybrid model. And even this is not only with the metro and tier 1 cities, this is also for the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. The office demand is gaining the momentum because of this insurance and IT sector. The office space market is again gaining the momentum, and there is a potential of FDI, foreign direct investment, in our office space segment. Retail real estate development बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट सेक्टर है अपने आप में. आप ये मान के चलिए कि चूंकि आज हमें कहीं ना कहीं अगर हमारी कोई एक सोसाइटी है तो पड़ोस में दुकानें होंगी ही होंगी, ये है. सो दिस इज नाउ आल्सो गेनिंग मोमेंटम in with every group housing there is a 1% FAR associated. So there, and also the retail malls, commercial complexes, local market shops are there, and लोगों को कहीं ना कहीं एम्प्लॉयमेंट की जरूरत है, तो लोगों को शॉप्स का भी एक बहुत बड़ा ट्रेडिंग के लिए बहुत बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी रहती है. सो दैट इज देयर, दैट इज आल्सो पार्ट ऑफ द सब पार्ट ऑफ द कॉमर्शियल रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर. सो नाउ फ्रेंड्स, there is some facts and figures. Bengaluru is doing the top, and no doubt due to this COVID-19 pandemic 2020-2021, 7,400 leases have been renewed in the 8 to 10 metro areas. So that is there, that is also important. And now the manufacturing sector is also logistics, third party logistics, basically 3PL, e-commerce and retail is also doing for the office spaces. So that is there. Now this is the commercial real estate aspect of the real estate sector regarding the recent developments. क्या क्या रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर में पिछले 2 से 3 साल में हुआ, उसके बारे में एक ये कॉमर्शियल के बारे में था, हमने अभी तक डिस्कस किया. नाउ द थिंग्स फॉर द गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज. What happened to the government policies, friends? Basically RERA, GST, NCLT, IBC, these are the buzzwords for the government policies. So government is also giving the push, doing very much good regarding the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban. So the in this budget also government has allocated funds regarding the PMAY Gramin, PMAY Urban. I also urge to the CP committee, so there would be a proper session for 1 hour or 2 hours regarding the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin or Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban. That is very much close to my heart. So I cannot discuss very much because time is limited in this session. So definitely we will discuss about the nitties and gritties of PMAYG, PMAY Urban. So that is also there. The government is doing very good, giving the houses on 10 to 15 lakhs or 20 lakhs or 6 lakhs for that matters. So that is there. No doubt because of this RERA, the real estate sector is gaining the momentum and because of kahin na kahin ek jo trust deficit tha, because of this trust deficit, the buyers were thinking that my money has gone. So what happened to my money? So now because of this RERA, now the RERA authorities are doing good. Everything is in the transparent. Rehabilitation of projects are there, and complaints mechanism, adjudicating mechanism are there. At least for buyer, there is a authority to address their issues. So no doubt, government is doing modernization of building bylaws. That is very, very important. I think there should be digitization as well. Transit-oriented development, transferable development rights. If the builder is doing some work, development work is there, so now the builder can do, because of this TDR, the development elsewhere, preparation of local areas plan and town planning schemes. So that is also there. That is also the important thing. No doubt because of this PMAY, the smaller ticket housing loans is on the surge. And since last 2 or 3 years, 2 crore, 3 crore, 5 crore, 10 crore, for that matter, 1.5 crore. So because of this PMAY things, so government has already provided 1 crore houses to the poor. So this PMAY Urban, PMAYG, because of this thing, we can also avail the benefit for the middle class. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, क्रेडिट लिंक्ड सब्सिडी स्कीम, CLSS. अगर आप अपना कोई फ्लैट या अपार्टमेंट अगर आप खरीदने का प्लान कर रहे हैं, तो फ्रेंड्स डेफिनेटली आप PMAY CLSS पे जरूर जाइए. वहां पर कुछ 2 से 2.5 लाख रुपए की छूट आपको मिलती है. सो यू कैन ऑप्ट फॉर दैट. उसका भी टाइम लिमिट इन्होंने बढ़ा दिया है. नाउ द रियल एस्टेट इन्वेस्टमेंट ट्रस्ट रीट, अगर कोई भी एक कंपनी है अपना एक ट्रस्ट क्रिएट करके कहीं ना कहीं अपना एक रीट क्रिएट कर सकती है. एम्बेसी का रीट आप लो, एम्बेसी ऑफिस पार्क रीट इज एग्जांपल इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू. सो नाउ द FDIs आर coming to the India regarding the formation of REIT. So that is the future things, REIT, no doubt, because in Western countries, sorry, Europe, USA, the REIT is doing good since last 30 to 40 years. So there is a very much high potential in our office space regarding the REIT. Global hotspot, no doubt, FIIs and FPIs are investing in our REIT. So it is also investment generation thing and give the higher yields for the foreign investors in this real estate investment trust REIT, friends. Basically, no doubt, focus on the consumer demand. Now the builders is open for merger, demerger, consolidations, joint developments. So these things are getting the momentum. Stalled projects, builders are also investing in the stalled projects, no doubt. And now this is also the time of large and small size developer. This is not the market of only large developer. This is also for the small size developer. And no doubt the prices are on the surge, but still the consumer is God, and the focus is on the consumer demand, consumer driven things. So now, yes, now the buzzword is brick. The real estate sector is not the brick and mortar. It's a service driven product offering sector as well. You can see the changes in 2022, 2023. So you can see the changes are there. So now some of the aspects related to the real estate sector as well. Smart cities mission. So now the government has identified 100 cities throughout the country regarding the smart cities. So the government is giving the amount for development of these smart cities, and now the government has already spent almost 50,000 crores in these smart cities, almost 500 crore per city, the government allocation. Now the government has already given the 284 crore from the central government so far. So the smart city mission has already in pipeline by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, जो कि अपने आप में एक ब्रेन चाइल्ड है हमारी कंट्री में रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर का, हाउसिंग पॉलिसीज का. Since its inception in 2015, the smart cities mission is there. So stamp duty, this is also important. Without the stamp duty we cannot assume the real estate sector. So friends, now because of the different cuts in stamp duty, the throughout the country stamp duty are varying from state to state, even from the district to district. Even it may be possible that within the state the stamp duty may vary from district to district, friend. So now this lead had been done by the Maharashtra, no doubt, and Maharashtra is also always the front runner so far the real estate sector is concerned. And even with the 35,000 project registered with the Maharashtra, so you cannot ignore Maharashtra. No doubt Maharashtra is the front runner in the real estate sector, and followed by other states as well. The other states are also really doing good. So now so far this stamp duty part of concern, the government is giving 2%, 3% stamp duty concession. And because of this, friends, now the 1,27,000 crores by 2020-21 for starting 8 months. So that is the data. And in around 28 states and 8 union territories, the demand is high. There is a turnover, there is a momentum in the real estate sector because of this cut of the stamp duty. So yes, if any state government wants to cut, so definitely they may cut the stamp duty by 2 or 3%, and there is a very much momentum in the real estate sector. Stock exchange, no doubt, real estate index has been since last 2 or 3 years by 75%. It is really doing good, and in years to come, you may see this real estate index of BSE, especially particularly for the real estate sector or real estate companies. So it will do good as well in the future. So now national urban rental housing policy, no doubt it is very important, because friends, the vacated house, there is a problem of vacated house. The landowner or the house owner or the apartment owner do not want to give their houses on rent, because they may afraid of that because of this draconian British time rules of Tenancy Act. So definitely the central government has framed the guidelines regarding the tenancy model code of law for Tenancy Act. So the state governments can follow the draft. This is in front of you through these slides, friend, the draft model Tenancy Act 2015. So the state governments are following the same. There is a rent control authority, so definitely that is there, and there is a professional opportunities as well to deal with the cases. So by this, you may see that the vacated houses can be used. So otherwise there is a very much gap. If I like to, maybe possible, I am into the lower income group or middle income group, or I cannot afford a house, friend. So definitely I shall go for a rented accommodation. So there was एक तरीके से अपने आप में खाई बन गई थी. There was a basically very much huge gap between the demand and supply. Okay, so now because of this thing, the things may be changed, and government is really doing good. And in this segment, affordable rented housing complexes are also there. that is the sub scheme of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban. So what is that scheme, friend? Basically, because of this reverse migration, what happened at the time of COVID pandemic, you have seen that our labor, our basically our brothers and sisters have went from the metro cities to the rural areas of India. So that was the pathetic situation because of this reverse migration crisis, because they do not have house or shelter. So definitely, and at the time of COVID-19 pandemic first wave in the month of March 2020 or April, or for that matter May. So because of this affordable rental housing complexes, there are two things, friends. First, the government is giving the houses on their land, okay, and on a very small rate. The marginalized farmers, laborers, housekeeping, washers, so these can have the houses basically. So at least they can enjoy their house. It can be 1 BHK, 2 BHK, dormitory, basically 4 to 6 houses, yeah, 4 to 6 beds. So at least they can enjoy these privileges. So, and this is the one model by the central government through the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. The second model is with the public-private partnership with the private sector. So the private sector can build the houses for 25 years, and there is also huge demand. So this is just a replica of Singapore and Hong Kong housing things. Okay, so that is also there. In the 2 or 3 years in the pipeline, we can see the real estate sector is changed. मेरा देश बदल रहा है, मेरा real estate sector बदल रहा है, friends. So now it is there. So basically, friends, some of things are also there. It is not the thank you, it is just a start. Okay, so we have discussed most of these things in the real estate sector. So now the government is doing Amrit Bharat mission. So that Amrit Bharat, the government is really doing good with these small projects. Okay, now the government is also focusing on the northeast states. So it is not only about the real estate sector, it is about the throughout whole development and sanitation, water. That is very important aspect. And transit oriented development. The government is also looking, the stakeholders are also looking with the different highways and different peripheral areas to develop. Because अगर कहीं पर कोई रोड निकलता है और उसके चारों तरफ अगर कहीं ना कहीं रियल एस्टेट का डेवलपमेंट होगा तो उससे एक रोजगार भी मिलेंगे. बट द प्रॉब्लम्स आर देयर, न्यूमरस प्रॉब्लम्स आर देयर. द रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर इज डायरेक्टली एसोसिएटेड विद द मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडस्ट्री. Without the manufacturing growth, you cannot assume the real estate sector. It is very important that we must focus on the manufacturing sector in our country as well. Without the growth of the manufacturing sector, because अगर कहीं पर factories होंगी वहीं पर real estate sector का friends development होगा. So you cannot assume the real estate sector without the manufacturing. It is everywhere. It is be it China, be it Hong Kong, be it Taiwan. So it is very important to discuss manufacturing sector at this platform as well. No doubt, friends, it is the right time. अगर मैं पर्सनल आपके अप्रोच के लिए बात करूं कि आपको कब घर लेना चाहिए, so now it is the right time to go for your home, because no doubt in the future you may see huge price surge in the real estate sector market. Now I am just shifting from macro to micro. अगर आपको कहीं घर लेने का आप प्लान कर रहे हैं, no doubt you can take home through the home loan and take the advantage not only with the income tax, with the CLSS, credit linked subsidy scheme, friends. So this sector is very much huge, and no doubt the employment which it will provide, and through the regulatory mechanism, be it RERA, be it IBC, be it GST, the सेक्टर इज गेनिंग द मोमेंटम. कहीं ना कहीं एक अपने आप में जो स्टेक होल्डर्स में एक विश्वास की कमी थी, वो भी कहीं ना कहीं एक चीज डेवलप आज ठीक हो रही है. नो डाउट मैं ये भी कहना चाहूंगा कि जो अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज है, गवर्नमेंट को उसकी तरफ भी कहीं ना कहीं ध्यान देना चाहिए, अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज की तरफ, Because without the development of urban local bodies, be it development authority, be it Jila Panchayat, be it regulated areas, be it municipality, municipal corporation, so the are basically urban civic bodies. So it is very, very important. No doubt, uh, without this thing, we cannot conclude the real estate sector scarcity of water. So the underground water is depleting. So if we will not do in action in hurry, so it will create a problem to our society, to real estate sector as well. Because अगर कहीं भी कोई सोसाइटी अगर पानी की कमी होगी तो कहीं ना कहीं एक माइग्रेशन होने ही वाला है, ये है. So it is very, very important to that government is also look into the matter of real estate sector. No doubt the Jal Shakti Mantralaya, Jal Shakti Ministry is doing their efforts regarding the same. And the new launches now, this is the time for new launches by the promoters, developers, builders. Now this is the time, and they are not basically what happened as to while that if a developer relating to the belongs to the Bangalore or belongs to the NCR, now the NCR developer is going Bangalore, Bangalore developer is coming to the NCR. New buzzword for the real estate sector, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. कहीं ना कहीं जम्मू एंड कश्मीर और लद्दाख में भी बहुत बड़ा रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर डेवलपमेंट होने वाला है फ्रेंड्स, या डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है. जिस तरीके से चीजें पीछे हुई थी, तो अब नो डाउट it may take time. It is not the time of 1 or 2 years. It may take at least 4 or 5 years time for the development. ये भी एक अपने आप में बहुत बड़ा चीज होगी. ऐसे now we can discuss the micro markets as well. Now because of this COVID-19 pandemic, friends, the price surge is so much. If there is a micro market of that before COVID-19, or you may see that February 2020 for that matter, or March 2020 for that matter, the price was 3,500 per square feet. Now in that micro market means small market or any particular real estate market, not from the macro perspective or not from the national perspective thing. So now the real estate market is per square feet 5,000. So you can see the huge price surge in the real estate sector as well. So as a professional, as a chartered accountant, as a company secretary, as a advocate, as a CMA, as a tax professional, or so it is, we can grab the huge professional opportunities in terms of RERA, in terms of development authority, in terms of advising the real estate consultant, in terms of advising the government on the front of real estate sector. So there are huge opportunities involved in the real estate sector. People are doing really good in the IBC, in the NCLT matters as well. So that is their GST is there. Yeah. So basically, no doubt. So with this thing, now I am concluding my session, and over to you, Rakesh, for the queries of the session. So now we can discuss the queries regarding the same. It is last 10 or 15 minutes. We can discuss the queries from the house. So Rakesh, over to you. Thanks.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you for such a wonderful session and enlighten us on the topic real estate. It's a wonderful session for me also, for getting such a deep knowledge about real estate. Thank you, sir. I will take queries in a while. Just give me 1 minute, sir.
Yeah, please, you may take the queries, Rakesh. It's my pleasure to discuss with the queries, because in the query session, there are some important questions maybe. Yes, no doubt. Parth is giving one queries: blockchain technology and technology. No doubt. We have already discussed, friends, regarding the technology, that developers are giving the imperative and developers are giving thrust on this technology. Without the technology, even you cannot survive. In your personal life, you are using the technology. Just for example, for the real estate sector, we have discussed 3D things, virtual tours, digital walkthroughs, and even not only with the sales and marketing, even with the construction technology. For example, recent things is the recent buzzword is the my one shuttering. So from shifting to traditional shuttering to my one shuttering, and there is a also benefit of carpet area, you can assume. So without the technology, even the central government has implied the things bamboo technology. Now in northeast states, the houses are built through the bamboo, and it's a G+2 house. So no doubt in by this technology, be it blockchain or be it other type of technology, the real estate sector will definitely benefit. Not only the real estate sector, the other sector will be getting the benefits. So I think Rakeshji, any other queries from the house from this? Rakeshji, your voice is not audible to us.
यस गौरव जी, एक्चुअली ये लास्ट क्यूरी थी सर. इसके लिए बाद में हमारे पास और इस टॉपिक पे कोई क्यूरी नहीं आई है किसी मेंबर की. तो
आप अगर कोई क्वेरी पूछना चाहते हैं राकेश.
Sir, just a wonderful session, and there is no query. You have thoroughly go for your topic, and there is no query for other member and me also. So I thank Ye Gaurav Agrawal ji for such a wonderful session on behalf of CP Committee of ICI. And sir, can we move for the another topic, or should we wait?
Yeah, you can move from to another topic, and I would like to say that no doubt the real estate sector is having immense opportunities. Itself is having immense opportunities, and future is bright regarding the real estate sector in our country. The current government is really doing good for the real estate sector, and the market is also bullish, and the promoters and realtors are also bullish for this sector. And as a concluding remark, the what it was earlier, since last 70 years, हम लोगों को कहीं ना कहीं लगता था कि देश में हमारे में अनरेगुलेटेड सेक्टर है. बस बिकॉज ऑफ दिस इतने सारे शिफ्ट अभी गवर्नमेंट ने किए हैं, आज लोगों को लगने लगा है कि कहीं ना कहीं कोई रेगुलेटर बैठा हुआ है, या कोई है जो हमारी बात सुनने के लिए है. सो नो डाउट आज इन्वेस्टमेंट काफी कुछ बढ़ने जा रहा है. और आज not only this is the market of end user, not the investor. Yeah, investor are there in the commercial sector, investors are there, but now this is the market of end user. लोगों को कहीं ना कहीं घर खरीद के और उसमें अपना घर में रहने का शुरू करना है. ये तो इस तरीके से बुलिश थिंग्स है. और मैं यही कहना चाहूंगा कि हम लोगों के लिए भी काफी सारी इसमें प्रोफेशनल अपॉर्चुनिटीज है. With this concluding remarks, thank you so much, Rakesh ji. Thank you of CPE committee. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I welcome Mr. Ashwini Prakash ji for our second topic of today's VCM, drafting and importation of documentation in real estate sector. Mr. Ashwini Prakash is a reputed real estate developer with interest in National Capital Region and Western UP in India. He is recognized within the real estate development community for his contribution to various urban development projects in the National Capital Region. He has held several senior executive positions leading large-scale urban development, which redefined the concept of quality residential and commercial development in the region. After a highly successful career within the manufacturing industry spanning 2 decades, he joined the real estate sector in 2004 as a general manager commercial. He is a senior executive with strategic growth responsibilities He architected several large-scale residential development projects. His insight into the development in the real estate market helped the group. He has worked for market strategic investment and implement highly successful projects. He has been instrumental in undertaking new initiatives and introducing operational and cost efficiencies. Presently, he rendering his services to real estate industries as a consultant and is associated with National Real Estate Development Council UP chapter, a representative body of real estate sector as an advisor. I welcome Mr. Aswini Prakash ji for his deliberation on the topic. Welcome,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you, Mr. Saini. Sushil, are you there? Sushil? Sushil,
Sir,
are you there?
yes, sir. I am here.
वो slide डाल दो.
Okay, sir. Just a call.
Good evening, everybody. I am Ashwini Prakash. Now we would start with the importance of documentation, its drafting, vis-a-vis RERA and real estate. Document can be defined, I think, in many manners, but I put a very simple definition to it. Facts reduced to writing for future reference, according to me, can be termed as a document. The importance of document is that whatever we document is for future, not for present. So it becomes a very important paper. Any document carries its own importance. Undisputed importance of a document is that it tells the facts which at any time have been agreed between the parties to the document and are referred to by the parties in case of any dispute or legal proceedings or between the parties to the document, or at times even by outside party. Many times the documents are also referred by the analysts and the researchers. So as a whole, whether it is real estate industry and engineering industry or a office or an educational institute, the documents are very, very important papers which are to be preserved and are to be framed in a manner that it can be referred to in future. Next. Sushil, next.
Yes.
Importance of drafting document. As I said, that the documents are very, very important papers and are to be carefully designed. A document is a referral paper, as I said, and therefore all precautions should be taken while drafting a document. The language of the document should be clear, the facts given therein should be correct, and the sequence should be so that it is easily understandable, even if referred by the third party. Again, I would repeat that the importance of the document is that it should be clear when it is referred by the third party. The parties to the document normally know the substance of the document, the background of the document, how it was prepared, under what circumstances it was prepared. But once it is referred by a third party, it should give the correct information, it should give a sequential information, and that too, according to me, in a very simple manner. So if that is there in the document, it will deliver all what is required from a document. Next, we say that a document should be prepared in such a manner that the conditions agreed between the parties to the document are clearly explained in an understandable language, should not give rise to any ambiguity while drawing the conclusion. Here, I should put the emphasis on this. It should not give rise to any ambiguity while drawing the conclusion, because whenever a document is referred in future, if there is an ambiguity, it will lead the parties into a wrong direction, the conclusion into a wrong direction. And if it is referred by a court or by a arbitrator or by any third party, and the conclusion has the ambiguity, it is likely to divert from its path. So the importance is again that the document should clearly explain the conditions and the in a simple language. Next. Now, when we come to the real estate sector, vis-a-vis the documents, I have tried to analyze the documents which are required in the real estate in 3 stages. One is pre-registration stage. Second is your post-registration stage or the document. And the third is possession documents. And fourth one is the miscellaneous documents. Coming to the first one, the pre-registration documents. If we go down to the real estate sector, as Gaurav has just now explained, and you must be knowing that the RERA has come into force and is playing a very important role in real estate nowadays. Everything is regulated. The RERA in different states are regulating the projects very deeply. Therefore, the documents which are required for the registration of a project are very, very important. So important that there should be no objection from the office of RERA while you put in the application for the registration. So coming again to the pre-registration document, first one is the joint development agreement or development agreement. You see, before going into the registration, we will have to see what type of arrangements are there in the real estate sector. One is the development agreement. It is purely for a developer who under certain conditions is ready to develop a project on the landowner's land. And accordingly, the agreement is framed, developed, and the conditions are put in. Next is the joint development agreement. The joint development agreement is where the land belongs to the landowner promoter and the development is done by the developer promoter. So there is an agreement signed between the parties wherein you just mention the responsibilities of the developer promoter and the responsibilities of the landowner promoter. The landowner promoter normally provides the land for the project, and the rest of the things are done by the developer promoter. The developer promoter mainly is the controller of the project and controls the project in every manner, be it the technical, be it the financial, and be it the achievement of the completion target. So there is no practically the interference of landowner promoter. He only shares the profit or the property or the inventory which is as per the conditions of the joint development agreement. So again, the conditions between the landowner promoter and the developer promoter should be spelled very, very clearly so that there is no ambiguity later on. There are two modules which are normally followed. One is the profit sharing module, wherein the profit is shared between the developer promoter and the landowner promoter by way of revenue sharing. And the other is the sharing of the inventory. The percentage is decided between both of them, and accordingly the sharing is done. Right? Then we come to the consortium agreement. This consortium agreement is very important, and we had been suggesting it to many of our clients. The consortium agreement, you may treat it as a team work, wherein a lead member is elected, and the lead member leads the entire group as a captain, and the rest of the members, they are the members of the consortium team. The basic difference between the joint development agreement and the consortium agreement is that in the consortium agreement, only the duties of different members are defined. Who is going to be going to provide the land, who is going to look after the development, who is going to look after the engineering part of it, who is going to look after the financial part of it, and so forth. So the responsibilities of different members of the consortium team is defined, and the lead member who leads the team is at the front of the game in the project, right? The benefit in consortium agreement vis-a-vis the joint development agreement is that in joint development agreement, you need to pay exorbitant stamp duty for registration, whereas in consortium agreement, it is executed on a stamp paper of 1,000 rupees, right? And both of them are recognized by the real estate regulatory authorities. The only the difficulty which nowadays have been faced by the developer in the consortium agreement, we have been told that the bankers are not recognizing this document. In my opinion, it is not right to de-recognize the consortium agreement. It is a registered agreement giving the conditions between the members of the consortium and the duties of the consortium. And wherever the land or the other properties of the project are to be mortgaged, the authority is given to the lead member to take care of all these. And therefore, the banker should recognize it, take the mortgage from the consortium, and then they can carry out their action or their disbursement of loan, etc. Right? So again, I would repeat that the difference between the consortium agreement and the joint development agreement is basically we save a lot of stamp duty in executing both of them. Now, the power of attorney, general and special. The power of attorney is the attorney given by one party to the other for a specific job, which is called the special power of attorney, or general power of attorney. It carries all the duties which are to be carried by the attorney holder on behalf of the executor. Right? In consortium agreement, since it is a registered agreement, we do mention the power of attorney clause in favor of the lead member. The other members of the team as executor, and it serves the purpose. It serves the purpose as we have been doing, and The third one is Memorandum of Understanding. This is the recording of the conditions or the terms between the two parties or three parties or number of parties, wherein it is mentioned that under what conditions these parties would work together, what shall be the responsibility of uh, uh, of individual party. This document is simply notarized and it is not registered. It is just an basic document between the parties and are signed by the parties in acceptance of the conditions mentioned herein. Various affidavits are the affidavits required by the regulatory authorities for different purposes and are drafted accordingly as either on the basis of the format provided by the authorities or on the basis of the subject which is to be shown in under the affidavit. Right? Next, the post-registration document. The post-registration document is that when we get the registration from Real Estate Regulatory Authority, certain documents are required at the end of the developer, which are to be given to the allottees or are for the office use, starting from the application for registration. The application for registration is a simple form containing the basic conditions of the allotment, wherein an intending allottee is required to submit the application requesting the developer to allot a particular unit in his name. The right of allotment of a unit or rejecting the application lies with the developer. It is not that mere filing of an application entitles an intending allottee to get the unit. The application is accompanied. Normally, we put the condition. The application is accompanied by the registration fee. So, till the submission of the application, an intending allottee does not become a allottee. It is just an application requesting the developer to allot a particular unit. Once that particular unit is allotted on the basis of the application form submitted by the intending allottee, its allotment letter is issued by the developer to the allottee, informing that so and so unit on the request of the intending allottee has been allotted to him by the developer, and in that allotment letter, the allottee is requested to deposit the balance amount, that is the to complete the 10% amount of the total sale price of a unit, and thereafter the agreement for sale is prepared in favor of the allottee of the said unit. So allotment letter also gives one important information, because RERA now says that any agreement should between the developer and the allottee should be registered, and the developer can ask more than 10% amount from an allottee only once the agreement for sale is registered. Here, as a consultant, we put a advice to our developers that you cannot go after the allottee and force him to get the agreement registered, because a lot of expenses are involved in the registration of the agreement. And thereafter, the allottee may decide to cancel the allotment, in which case the fee paid by him towards the stamp duty will go to waste. So almost everywhere, nobody is getting the sale agreement for sale registered, and it is a problem for the developer to convince the allotee to get the agreement registered. So as a consultant, what we have done is that we have put a clause in the allotment letter itself that the registration of the agreement is mandatory and should be done on behalf of the allotee. In case the allotee does not get the agreement registered, then the developer shall be entitled to charge the next installment towards the house, and it shall be at the risk and responsibility of the allotee not to get the agreement of for sale registered, the registrar. Right? Then agreement to sale, it contains the detailed condition of sale for a particular unit between the developer and the allotee. The important part in agreement for sale now after the inception of RERA is that the delayed penalty or the penalty for delayed possession should be given at the same rate at which the developer is charging the interest on the delayed payment from the allotee. This is very, very important. Normally, the real estate regulatory authorities, they are now giving the judgment wherein they are directing the developers to pay the interest or the penalty at the rate of MCLR plus 1%. So it keep on fluctuating, and normally nowadays it's around 7% if calculated. Besides this, the conditions of maintenance is also mentioned in this agreement for sale. It is also important that we mention in this agreement to sale that in case when the possession is offered by the developer and the allotee does not take the possession within the time limit given, he will have to pay the maintenance and the holding charges to the developer till the time he takes the possession. The cutoff date of completion is taken as the completion letter issued by the competent authority with respect to that particular project. Then demand letter. After the project is complete and a developer gets the completion OC or CC from the competent authority, a letter of possession is issued to the allotee, giving him the details of the amount to be deposited by him before taking the possession. The demand letter is the general letter which a developer sends from time to time asking the allotee to pay the installment as given in the agreement for sale. The demand letter also carries the details of the unpaid installment, the previous unpaid installment, I should say, and the interest accrued thereupon. The receipt is issued to the allotee for the payment, and the receipt is subject to the encashment of check or draft, whatever he pays from, and it is the acknowledgement of the amount received by the developer from the allotee. Reminder letter is the letter issued by the developer in case the allotee is not responding to the demand letters of the developer. Cancellation document. The cancellation document is given when the allotee becomes a defaulter in the payment. The act of the Real Estate Regulatory Act says that in case an allotee defaults for 3 consecutive demands, he should be given a notice of 90 days to pay the amount. In case he doesn't pay the amount within that 90 days period, he shall finally be given a notice of 30 days for the cancellation. And for that, the documents are to be prepared accordingly. Firstly, for a notice for 90 days, then a notice for 30 days, and finally, the cancellation letter. The transfer documentation endorsement. This document is in practice nowadays, wherein a allotee endorses his property to another allotee, and the developer issues the agreement for sale in favor of the person in whose favor the endorsement is done. The amount paid by the earlier allotee is endorsed in favor of the second allotee, and thus the agreement for sale is issued for the new allotee. Next one is the post-register. This is possession documents. Offer of possession, as I already touched upon, that once we OC or CC is received by a developer from the competent authority, is the next step that the offer of possession is sent to the allotee for the payment of the amount due on him on possession. Once that amount is paid and the dues are clear, the allotee is entitled for the possession of the unit. Here, two things are very important to mention, that nowadays, because of certain reasons, the developers are not getting the OC or CC due to administrative reasons, due to their defaults, or many other reasons. So the regulatory authorities have issued a notification wherein, under the laid down circumstances, the developer can take it as the deemed completion and issue the letter for the offer of possession to the allottees. And particularly in NCR, the practice is in big way nowadays. So in case if a developer receives OC or CC, then straightway the offer of possession is issued. And in case the OCCC is not issued by the authority, there are certain laid down conditions which entitles the developer to consider the project as deemed complete and issue the offer of possession. Undertaking from the allottees regarding the possession. At times, the projects are complete and they have put in the application for issuance of the completion certificate. But it takes time in the issuance of the certificate, and the allottees may require the unit for fit out, so that when the possession is offered, they can immediately shift. In that case, now a practice is going on that an undertaking is taken from the allotee regarding the fit out, and the allotee is given a temporary possession, and so that he can complete his woodwork or other works in the flat, so that at the time of the offer of possession, he can immediately shift into the unit. The sublease deed, when you complete the payments to the developer, or you are issued a NOC from the accounts department of the developer, then an allotee is entitled for the execution of the sublease deed. Normally in NCR, it is all leased land. So it is a sublease deed between the competent authority, the developer, and the allotee. The sale deed is normally executed on freehold land, which is termed as the sale deed or the conveyance deed. Agreement to sublease deed. As I earlier said that the developers are not getting OCCCs from the authority, and therefore the authorities are not entering into the sublease deed, as I have mentioned just now. That is a tripartite deed between the authority, the developer, and the allotee. In that case, the agreement for sublease is being executed between the developer and the allotee, wherein the possession is delivered, the stamp duty is charged by the government, and the document is registered. And whenever a developer in this case will get the OC or CC, or it tripartite sublease deed is executed, it shall be simply on the stamp paper of 100 rupees or whatever the fee laid down at that time by the government. Possession letter of the apartment or unit. When the possession is delivered of the unit to the allotee, the possession letter is given to the allotee, and a copy of it is retained by the developer, wherein the allotee acknowledges that he has taken the possession of the unit in good condition, and all the gadgets are in working condition, and he is taken the possession to the fullest of his satisfaction. So this document is very important in case any case is filed or any litigation is initiated by any allotee in future. This document plays a very, very important part in defending the developer. Electricity supply, now in particular in NCR or in UP, it is the multi-point connection given by the government or the electricity department nowadays, and the distributor companies are putting up their own meters. So the documents which are supplied by the government or the distributing company are to be signed by the allotee, and the connection has to be taken in his own name. Payments are to be done directly by the allotee to the distributing company. Earlier, it was single point connection, wherein the connection was given to the developer in his name, and the developer used to distribute the load to the allottees and charge the bill for electricity consumption from the allotee. Allotment of car parking. Car parking is allotted to the allotee along with the unit, and a separate allotment letter for the car parking is issued by the developer to the allotee, wherein few conditions are very important: that he will not create any construction on the parking. The space is meant only for the parking. He will not encroach the parking in any way. He will not keep any hazardous material in the parking lot. He will adhere to all the conditions laid down by RWA or by the developer vis-a-vis the parking. All these important conditions are mentioned in the allotment letter for parking. Letter for allottees for power backup. Normally, 1 kVA or 2 kVA power backup is provided by the developer to the allotee along with the allotment. But according to the requirement, many allottees put their application for the additional power backup load. And for that, a letter or an application form is to be drafted, and that application form is to be filled in by the allotee and submitted to the developer for enhancement of the power backup load. No due certificate, as I told earlier also, that once the dues are paid by the allotee to the developer, a no due certificate from the accounts department of the developer is issued to the allotee. Common area maintenance agreement. It is very important document because it carries all the conditions for the common area maintenance of the project, and the cleanliness of the project, the maintenance of the equipment of the project, just as the diesel generator sets, the water tanks, the street lights, the parking lots, cleanliness, and the plumbing problems. All these things are put in this common area maintenance agreement, and the allotee is told about the maintenance charges to be paid by him on regular basis. He is also told that in case the maintenance charges are not paid by him, he would be deprived of the connections, the water connection or other connection, because earlier it used to be the disconnection of electricity, but now since it is the multi-point connection, the disconnection of electricity at the part of the developer is not possible. So the recent trend is that the disconnection of water supply, naming and faming, restricting the entry of the allottee's vehicle into the parking area. These are some action taken by the developers to have the charges, maintenance charges from the allottees. So it is a big document and has to be designed very, very carefully while drafting it and to get signed from the allottees. Other documents are occasionally used in the real estate. Exchange deed is used when there is exchange of property between the two parties. And in that case, both the properties are evaluated and the stamp duty is paid on the value which is higher out of both of these property. But it is a legal document. The properties can be exchanged instead of getting the sale deed separately for both the properties and paying the stamp duties for both the properties. Exchange deed can be prepared and the stamp duty can be paid on the property which is higher in value. Then the assignment deed. Assignment deed is slightly different from the exchange deed. Assignment deed is done where a certain property is assigned to the other party in exchange of certain. There is no valuation. For a particular, say, piece of land, a particular inventory is allotted and assigned through the assignment deed. The significance of this assignment deed is that it is executed merely on 1,000 rupees stamp paper, and you save a lot of stamp duty if you execute the sale deed for the land separately or the inventory assigned to the landowner. So assignment deed is easily executed and at a lesser stamp duty. So these are the documents which are important. And once again, I repeat that the documents are for future reference, and so it should be prepared very carefully and very clearly, clear language, clear conclusion drawing, clear conditions agreed between the parties to the agreement, so that there is no ambiguity while the documents are analyzed. Thank you very much. Any queries? Mr. Saini, you can come. Come with your questions. Saini.
Thank you, Ashwini sir. We will proceed for the questions. Let me.
The final legal document for the ownership of any apartment or unit is, as I said, is a sale deed or a sublease deed. The sublease deed is executed when the land is leasehold land, and the sale deed is executed when the land is a freehold land. Mr. Saini, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir.
Can you put up the second question?
The second question is, sir, car parking minimum standards and the
Minimum
drinking water
standards are
supply
laid
requirement.
down by the development authorities of the area, and the developer has to get the map for the parking also sanctioned. There are defined number of parking vis-a-vis the unit of the project. So a developer cannot create less parking than what is specified by in the bylaws of any development authority.
Right, sir. Another question is, sir,
It is not at the discretion of the developer. It is the laid down criteria in the bylaws of the authority.
Oh, right, sir. What is the drinking water supply requirement, sir?
Drinking water supply is also laid down by the authority, and accordingly, as per the number of units in the project, you have to provide the storage tank for the water and the generation of water.
Okay, sir. Sir, another question is the how post construction service deficiency remedies.
देखिए सर्विस डेफिशिएंसी रेमेडीज तो ये है कि जो रेरा कहता है वो ये कहता है कि आप आरडब्ल्यूए तुरंत बनाएंगे, डेवलपर उसमें मदद करेगा और उसके बाद वो प्रोजेक्ट जो है आरडब्ल्यूए को हैंडओवर हो जाएगा। तो एक बार आरडब्ल्यूए को हैंडओवर हो जाता है तो फिर आरडब्ल्यूए कोई भी प्रॉब्लम है रेजिडेंट्स की वो टेकअप करता है इधर विद द डेवलपर्स और विद द अथॉरिटी। और जो रिसेंट जजमेंट रेरा कोर्ट्स के भी आ रहे हैं, जो डेफिशिएंसी की बात है, दे आर नॉट एंटरटेनिंग द डेफिशिएंसी पार्ट ऑफ इट, they are just entertaining the possession part of the unit at RERA, and for the deficiency part they say that you go to your RWA, and RWA will take it up with the authority or the developer as the case may
be. Okay, sir. The another question is how revenue is recognized when plot is sold on installments.
Normally, the plot is sold on installment by the authorities only. Between the private parties, if at all it is on installment, they normally take the post-dated checks. And as per the agreement, they keep on putting the checks for encashment.
Okay. So next question is, any book or format where we can find all these documents at once and edit accordingly?
These are available on the sites, various sites in Google and all. But one thing is important: you can get the basic format, but not the exact format as required by a developer or by an LOT, because the conditions of every project differ, and those conditions are to be put in into the documents essentially. So the ready-made availability of a document for a particular project is not possible as per according to me.
Okay. So the next question is, sir, is GPA and code decree enough to execute a sale of land?
It is something confusing. Repeat
GPA and
again,
code
please.
decree enough to execute sale of land?
Code degree and
GPA.
yes, if the authority is given to the attorney holder to execute the sale deed of a particular property, it can be executed, provided that that attorney is valid on that date of execution. It is not been invoked by the executor. That is one thing which is important. Court degree, if given regarding the sale of execution of the sale deed, is an order from the court, and it is to be executed as per the decree. Normally, it is done in the case of specific performance. Decree is passed by the court, and the directions are given to the seller to execute the sale deed. And it is one of the important conditions in the agreement to sale, that in case the seller will not execute the sale deed in favor of the buyer, it shall be the privilege of the buyer to get it executed through the court, and through the court is the suit of specific performance which is filed in the court, and the court issues the order, as you said, or the decree, whatever is.
Right, sir. So another question is, sir, when any person or entity registered under RERA by way of deemed registration, does the authority has power to reject the deemed registration after?
No. The RERA itself is a constitutional body, higher than the development authority. Development authority is himself is a developer and has to be registered under RERA while executing any project or development work.
Okay. So, in the last question, the participant added that is that release deed is sufficient for relinquishment, right? And can that be obtained party wise when there are more than two party having right over the property?
You kindly repeat the question.
Is that release deed is sufficient for relinquishment, right? And
What
can,
deed? What deed?
actually the previous question regarding is GP and court degree. I think this question is in respect of that also. Is that release deed is sufficient for relinquishment, right? And can that be obtained party wise when there are more than two party having right over the
release
property?
deed बन जाती है, release कर देते हैं कि I relinquish my right. तो जैसे फैमिली की कोई प्रॉपर्टी होती है तो
Right.
उसमें अगर किसी एक मेंबर फैमिली के एक मेंबर के फेवर में वो रिलीज डीड दे देते हैं, बाकी के मेंबर तो उसके नाम में एग्जीक्यूट हो जाती है, ट्रांसफर हो जाती है रादर एग्जीक्यूट के।
Right, sir. Sir, the last question is how to tackle matter which involve difference between registry value and amount taken from the buyer.
ये देखो, ये तो आजकल तो ये है, जो कैश पार्ट होगा तो वो फिर उसका क्या कर सकते हैं। The court entertains only the amount given in the registered document। कोई लेके आप चल सकते हैं, इसका तो कुछ नहीं।
Right, sir. Right. Sir, let me check once question remains. Sir, we have covered all the questions raised by the participants.
ठीक है, चलिए थे।
Sir, I warmly thank you, sir, for such a wonderful session and question answer session also, sir.
I
It's
think
a really
I am able to remove the doubts the participants are having.
rightly, sir. Rightly, all the questions are deliberated. Sir, my voice is coming.
हाँ,
Right. Sir, yes, all the questions of the participants are answered rightly. I thank you, sir, for your such a wonderful session. And सर काफी कुछ सीखने को मुझे पर्सनल लेवल पे भी मिला है, तो उसके लिए
you are always welcome।
पर्सनल मेरे पर्सनल थैंक यू भी सर आपको उसके लिए।
So nice of you, thank you very much। You are always welcome।
थैंक यू सर।
Okay, thank you, Sushil।